Why did I write this song?
Yes, I just asked you that.
Because I'm just a girl? The theme of this whole song is how language and culture have impacted the new norms in heterosexual relationships. I think the reason why situationships hurt so bad when they end versus regular relationships is because you're in love with the idea of that person. Say you're in a 3-month situationship versus like a 2-year-long relationship. The whole time in that 3 months, you're just coming up with what ifs, because it's kind of just like a never-ending talking stage. You're constantly having to fill in the blanks in your own mind about this person, and then once you break it off, you're left with like, oh, so I'll never get to find out if that's true or not. And a lot of times we don't like to think about the red flags in the people that we're in situationships with, because it's just like, oh, it's so thrilling, you never know what's going to happen next. It really sends you in loops because you never really know who you're really trying to connect with, because you're just left with so many what ifs. So you just fill in the blanks and assume that yes, they would, and they become your dream person in your mind. But in reality, they barely talk to you, they never text first, they never do anything. They don't even get you a birthday gift. Like, please. That's not a relationship. It's like basically a never-ending hookup with somebody, which really sucks. Versus if you're gonna end your 2-year relationship with somebody, you've been communicating and everything, and you know about this person actually, so you don't have much to fill in about them, which I guess in turn makes it a bit less emotionally destroying because you're not afraid like you're gonna lose them. You're not like holding on by a thread. You're just existing with them. But in a situationship, it's like, what if? Anything could go wrong. They could find a better person. It's not a stable relationship because it's a situationship. It's just a situation. You're just talking to that person and you're attracted to them and they're attracted to you, but you have this forever thought of you could be replaced. There's someone out there that's better than you. And that just kind of really ruins it. Situationships truly thrive on lack of communication, which is really enforced within the norms that are made up with it, which is why we talk a lot about, oh, no double texting, they have to text first type thing, because nonchalance is really, it's really loved, you know? Unlike you in a situationship. You're always left there waiting for that person, and will they ever show up? Probably not, because they're not actually in love with you. They're just using you because they want somebody to feel like they're loved. And especially in straight relationships, we see this. We're constantly in need of validation. Well, that's in everywhere, but like we're so in need of validation, especially from women, from men, because that's just how women have been brought up, in need of male validation, and that's why they often stick themselves in these situationships or like friends with benefits, because it's just a way of being free while also still getting that validation. And it's really just not good at all. Man, I don't even know why I wrote this song. I just for fun. Yeah, so pretty much I was just sitting here. Wait, I'm missing a prop with my ukulele, obviously, and my notes app, and my laptop. And I just started, like spelling out my brains because I felt like it. It was late. It was midday. Yeah, I just sat here with my ukulele and I just like kind of just picked 2 chords and went with it. I'll play you the chords, but I'm not gonna sing. How do I play those chords? Anyway, yeah, that's like a teaser, spoiler, oh my god. Yeah, so that's this whole song. The lyrics are very sad because I was feeling sad, midnight, sad girl hours, you know, of course. And I was feeling sad, you know. I wanted to write a song about situationships because I've been seeing a lot of that on my For You page on Instagram, and everybody's just like, oh, this is so terrible. I hate being in situationships. I just broke up with my situationship. So I thought it'd be pretty interesting to write about, even though I've never been in a situationship before. And yeah, I was also just going through a lot of creativity block because college started, and I was like super stressed. So I was like, let me just like have fun, you know, just write, because it was the end of summer. And yeah, it's called Weeping Willow. I picked the plant and I decided to write about it. Yeah, the character's name is Willow, and she always goes to a willow tree because she weeps like one. Well, I really like Chrissy. Her music is very cool. I like her style, and I like her writing style as well. And she's been one of my main inspirations recently. She's a small artist. She's really cool. But yeah, I was just like kind of channeling her vibe after I listened to her album Heaven Is In You, because I just really liked the storyline of it, and I had just released my EP in December as well, which was similar to the vibe, but not about situations specifically. It was more just like real life experiences. Well, dating is hard for young people. It always has been. While dating and trying to find the one, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel, a serious committed relationship. So with the lack of communication, it's not fun, you know, being left undelivered for hours on end. And all the norms that are placed into situationships, you know, they kind of like, they sprinkle little subtle, kind of like others women in straight situationships. By doing that, we kind of like enforce patriarchy, because all these harmful standards are coming back that came with that. And because of this idea of red pill culture on social media lately, and misinformation and standards being spread to specifically young men, because they're so easily manipulated and like taught by the media, because they don't really have any good people to look up to for how they should be, you know, it just kind of makes it worse. And then they never really look for proper relationships. They just constantly go from person to person. These casual long-term relationships are very harmful to women, especially because they're more often than not manipulated by the men who start them, because they're just not emotionally capable of being in a proper long-term relationship. So they just kind of manipulate these women the whole time and force them to be in a forever talking stage, because that's more fun for them, because stability isn't fun, because they never learned what stability is as a kid, and so they kind of just have issues, and they project that onto their relationships, as we all do. So yeah, well, the patriarchy, you know, like, that's what teaches these young men to be in not healthy relationships, because all they're taught all their lives is to be like the big man, like strong, no emotions. And that's kind of like not a good thing if you want to be in a relationship, because you have to be able to communicate, you have to be able to be vulnerable, you have to be able to be there, you know. And by having the currently taught norms from patriarchy, that's none of that. You have to be a big man emotionally, I guess, and have no emotions, and you have to be always angry, and you also can't show emotions, and you can't be reactive, but also you have to be angry. And it kind of just teaches the men to just be angry all the time and not very good at being in relationships, because anger isn't really vulnerability, it's just kind of like avoiding. So they avoid the real feeling of being in a relationship because they're scared, because all they've ever been taught is that they can't be scared and they have to be perfect all the time. And so really, even though situationships are very harmful to women, they're caused by the patriarchy causing this to men. So really, it's not just the man's fault to the women, it's the men who created the patriarchy so long ago. They're the ones who caused this now time problem. Like, why have we not been thinking about this already? Situationships.
So, can we hear the song finally?
Fine, but no judgment because it's just a demo, so that means I'm not ready yet and there's no. September is warm, but not to my heart. I cry for July, a simpler time. Like a willow, I weep for summertime, since that's the only time I can be with you. They tell me, willow, don't you weep. That's just how the seasons go. But every year I pray you want me through fall. Yet it's the last day of summer and your love is going cold. Meet me at the willow tree at the park down the street, one last time before you leave for the winter. It gets so cold without you here, and you always come back eventually. So won't you please just say? They tell me, willow, don't you the summertime. But then you dropped me like a toy at the first cold winter